Ladies and gentlemen, dogs and rats, mammals and cats, welcome back to Wos Speaks, guys. I told you guys we'd be doing a rebranding to start the year. Those of you who've been with us since day one, remember Wos Speaks was something I was doing way back in like 2017, 18 era, back when we were doing got leverage the chat shit. We ended up having a rebrand, regroup, whatever. Wos Speaks got left on the cutting room floor type of thing. But because we changed the format of the show, we decided to rejigger a few things. And honestly, the show is going to remain basically the same. I'm going to do my best to get some dope guests up here. Obviously, bring you guys the news of the day in about as informed a manner as I possibly can. While also talking about some other things that interest me, whether it be stuff in the world of television and movies and shit like that. And so, yeah, man, welcome back. Shouts to everybody that's on the live right now. Appreciate you guys. This freaking first week of Trump has been freaking dizzying. Just the fact that this guy's inauguration was on Martin Luther King Day, that irony, trust me, that sick, sad irony did not go past my head. It didn't go over my head. That was crazy. But like, yeah, he signed just a ton of executive orders, and it's been whiplash, man. And like, I'm watching him pass this stuff, and the immigration stuff it's tough because like on a certain there's two things that make it tough for me. So obviously, I'm a first generation American. Both of my parents are Haitian immigrants. Both of them came here legally on visas or what have you. This was the 70s. It was a lot less stringent than it is right now. And obviously I'm proud of both of them. I feel very close to them. And their immigrant background informs so much of the things that I'm about and that I care about. And so, when I hear people talking crazy just blanketly about immigrants, I feel personally attacked. This is something I feel take very personally. I hear the arguments about our resources and them allegedly being so limited. And yes, we do need to have a border where we enforce, our rules about who gets to come in and out. I get all of that stuff. It's just the immigrant stuff is something that lands on my ear and my heart a certain way, quite delicately, honestly, in ways that most stuff politics related doesn't really get my temperature going like that. Maybe like union busting or just not a lot of stuff just gets me viscerally, angry. So I'm just watching these Donald Trump executive orders pile in, and not only am I just mad about right wingers having all the control right now. It's just I think about the circumstances that it took for this guy to even seem like a interesting and compelling candidate, man, and the freaking Biden administration. It's just I'm sorry, I just get pissed off about the Biden thing this weekend at Bernie's, dead on arrival, literally, figuratively, imaginatively, and whateverly you want to come up with. And we allowed this dude, the Dems allowed this dude to parade him out there and pretend that this guy was still competent. It just kills my soul. I'm sorry, guys. I'm still pissed about that. Anyway, so Trump rolled out like 1 trillion executive orders. I think the most provocative one, and I think he did it on purpose, to be honest with you guys. The most provocative one being he wanted to end birthright citizenship for people that are illegal aliens, right? Meaning if two undocumented immigrants have a child, even though our Constitution says that anybody who is born, basically within our by parents who are within our jurisdiction isn't now a naturalized, you're an American citizen, period. World without end, amen. Right wingers been railing against this for decades now. They derisively call these kids anchor babies. The sense being that like these illegals come and then they drop the kid here. Now they're now anchored to the US by the kid. And Donald Trump was like, I want to get rid of birthright citizenship by decree with the swipe of a pen. Constitution, 3 parts of the government, be damned. I'm going to draft this executive order But a few hours ago, it came down the pike that a judge has already smacked that one down. Already smacked it down. I thought the language of the smackdown, Jerv, if you could pull that up for us, was quite entertaining and hilarious. Um, and so I'm going to read this for you. Here's the latest. A federal judge temporarily blocked President Trump's executive order that aims to restrict automatic citizenship to babies born on U.S. soil, calling it blatantly unconstitutional. The order Mr. Trump signed on Monday will reverse decades of precedent and affect children born to undocumented or temporary immigrants. Yeah, man. Basically, the judge who was appointed by Ronald Reagan said that he said this is one of the easiest cases that have ever come through his court. He said that this is just blatantly unconstitutional. Like, it's very clear on this. Like, the Constitution is clear. If a kid is born on American soil, that kid, him or her or they, is American. And so yeah, he just got smacked down by the courts, and it's just kind of crazy that the courts so clearly just have a rebuke for this guy in such a way that I think is the weirdest thing about what's happening right now is that in 2016, 2017, when Trump got elected, like, the response was so guttural and visceral that there were 5 million people on the streets immediately. And the Democrats basically followed suit and felt like they had a mandate to go against this dude for whatever reason, dude. Right now, anyway, like, obviously people are just tired, the people themselves, but the Democrats seem to be just sitting this fight out. Like, and not only are they sitting this fight out, they're helping these guys pass a law which states that and we could take that down, Church. A law which states that undocumented immigrants who commit crimes, who are not, excuse me, it's not even that they are found guilty of committing a crime. Basically, if you get charged with a crime, they have a responsibility to detain you and set you up for deportation. And that was a bipartisan effort there. Basically, the Democrats have capitulated to the GOP on immigration. They have no counter argument towards it. They're basically saying, you're right. Your frame that immigrant equals bad is true. We are in lockstep with you. And in fact, we're going to give you the votes in both houses of Congress to get this thing through. And they seem to be quite proud of it. And what I will say, about that, if to even muster a quote unquote defense for these guys, is that there does seem to be some public sentiment behind it. Not gonna lie, I wish it wasn't so, but the public does seem to be behind this idea of one, the status quo on immigration is untenable and unacceptable. The sort of the way Biden had it for the last 4 years, where 10 million undocumented folks have come into the country in the last 4 years. People just don't agree with that. I would say, look, man, you could talk to some liberal people, normal people in places like New York City, places like Chicago, that, the migrant issue has come home for them. A lot of people would like to see them leave. I hate to look, it's not how I feel. Obviously, I disagree with it. Obviously, I think the system intact, the way it is right now, is way too slow. We do need to hear these cases. We need to find a way to process these cases faster than we do. But the idea that we shouldn't be taking in asylum seekers, that we shouldn't be taking in new Americans, I just wholly disagree with. I think we have plenty of resources. I think we have plenty of room for it. If anything, the resources are just being hoarded by, obviously, our greedy ass oligarchs and overlords. But look, the public sentiment is behind it. New York Times dropped the story about it. How popular some of the stuff Trump is trying to do is. CNN was doing polls. It's like, basically, in terms of just the mass deportation itself, 53% of Americans are in favor. Like, that's That's tough. And this is what the dude ran on. And so he's going about in his first week in office trying to tell the people, like, yo, all the things I said I was going to do, I'm going to do. And again, I look, and I said this already up here before, I'm a bit tired of um democracy or political rule via theory, where these people say they're going to do something before they get elected. They talk a good game about all the things they're going to do for people when they get elected. And then it's like, well, Congress can't do anything. Well, Joe Manchin and Sinema didn't let us do it. And oh my goodness, can you believe Joe Lieberman? He's getting in our way and we just can't do anything for you guys. I'm sorry. I know that I'm Barack Obama and I came in on this crazy mandate and all that, but Joe Lieberman is saying no, I can't do anything. There's nothing I can do about it. Joe Lieberman's not letting me. I'm tired of that type of political rule, to be honest. And so a part of me does think the American public deserves the freaking governance that they voted for. The American public, these people who, they love Maria, who comes and cleans the crib every 2 weeks. They love her. What they gonna do when she's out? The dude at your pizza parlor. I keep saying this. To your favorite restaurants. I keep saying this. When the prices of all kinds of produce go up. This is what you wanted, right? This is what you wanted. And then, another thing that I think is important to say, very important to say, they can't actually, I think that we don't actually know how many undocumented people are in America, which, some people on the right would say is part of the problem. How, as a country, we have all of these unaccounted people for, we're a sovereign nation. How could that be the case? I get it, whatever. But the estimate is about 30 to 40 million. I think and people think that's on the low end. I would say it's probably closer to 30. But some people would say that's on the low end. We do not have the capacity or resources to actually enact some level of mass deportation. We literally can't physically move 30 million people out of the country, right? So that's something that I'm still heartened by. And I've said it already, and I'll say it again, despite the executive orders and blah, blah, blah. 22 blue states already taking this guy to court. They're going to throw the book at Donald Trump. He's going to have to actually fight for all of this. It's not going to happen getting taken down. It's just rhetorically, and just like the Democrats just sleeping on this. Like they're just nowhere on this. They're not making any news on this. It's just, I don't know. This sideline shit that they're doing is killing me, but whatever. These things are going to go to the courts. People are going to be fighting Donald. Don't think for a second that just because this guy waved his pen that this is going through. And these things are going to be fought in the courts. But I'm just saying, like, just as a practical matter, also, like, this guy they can't do this. ICE doesn't have the budget. They don't have the work. They don't have the agents. They don't have the workforce to do this. And some of the things that's coming out is about, because back the first time around, people like, yo, dog, we get it. We want illegal immigrants out, but like ICE agents snatching children out of their classrooms? Nah, dog. We're not really feeling the immigrants, but even right-wingers was like, nah, dog, you can't do that. ICE agents grabbing people up out of church on Sunday. Even right-wingers was like, dog, you can't do that. You can't just be grabbing Jose up out of service on Sunday, man. Nah, we can't do that. And so, again, a lot of these things are going to be fought tooth and nail in the courts. But like I said, man, I do think that these folks think that they have a mandate to go out and exercise their will to kick every immigrant out that they possibly can. But it ain't gonna go down like that. But I was talking to somebody, man, and I was just wondering how it's gonna go too. I wonder how people are gonna react when they ultimately realize that, like, the immigrants are still here, because we just literally can't do this. I think, part of what's gonna happen too, and they've said this isn't like, you can go look this up. Like, Trump officials have already said this. Like, part of the strategy of doing stuff that is public like that. The reason why it's funny, man, because like Trump and them announced that they're going to do mass raids and deportations in Chicago on Monday or Tuesday. I think they said that it was going to happen. And it's like a double-edged sword, right? One, they want to do the public spectacle. They want to have these raids. They want it plastered on CNN, MSNBC, Fox. They want the lib meltdown. They want all of that because they do want to send a message of sort of like let that stuff broadcast around the world so that people who are thinking of coming sort of on their own don't pull up. Right. So that's one of the things they want to achieve. And also, they want people who are here already to sort of what they call self-deport. They want people who are already here to be like, which is just crazy. It's just a crazy concept. They want people that are already here to basically say, yo, man, Trump and him is wilding. I don't want no ICE agent to put hands on me. I'm going to get the hell up out of here. But I think that's two of the reasons why you're gonna see this. But the funny thing about that is like the best way to actually have achieved this would have been to make it surprising. Like if you actually wanted to sweep up the most people, instead of letting people know that they need to not go to work that day or not go such and such that day or not go to, some of these spots where like, sort of day laborers are waiting for jobs to like work on people's houses and stuff like that, like to not show up to those areas because ICE agents and everybody knows that's where these guys go to go get work every single day, the undocumented cats. Like I think the smarter thing would have been to not broadcast that to America, but I don't know, man. Like look, it's super early. I do think that a lot of what's happening right now is based off of vibes and this sense on the right that they are so ascendant, that the wind is behind their backs, that, their guy won the popular vote, even if it was by a freaking percentage and a half, not exactly a landslide. So the idea that this is some level of somebody's idea of a mandate is insane to me, but whatever. The idea that the wind is behind their sails, they got a mandate, blah blah blah. A lot of this is a vibes based sort of these guys are feeling themselves right now. And I think, and I would warn those folks is there will be backlash for this overreach. Trust me. It sounds good and it feels good right now, but people gonna get tired of this. And then now you're gonna go start getting blamed for the $12 eggs and the milk prices and the rent prices and all of that. Like the honeymoon is happening, but it doesn't have to last this long. I promise you that. And so, yeah, man, it's just been a crazy whiplash week. Definitely just just a frustrating week if you're somebody like, many of you guys and myself who are on the left, who, just the idea that we're going to be rounding up a bunch of people who came here to try to make their lives better. By the way, coming from countries we've worked our asses off as the United States government to destabilize for one reason or another. It just seems inhumane and cruel. And, I do want to give a big shout out to that nice liberal pastor lady who scolded and lectured Donald Trump about being compassionate towards the internet. And just to get off of this immigration thing really quickly, because I was watching, I was looking at the reaction online, and this idea from a bunch of people who call themselves Christians saying that she's bastardizing their religion or whatever. This idea that the Bible, listen, and y'all need to hear this, when this idea that the Bible is inconsistent on this question may be true. The Bible. However, when it comes to the messaging of Jesus H. Christ, I'm sorry, there's no way to mix this up. There's no way to get it confused where Jesus Christ himself stood on this topic. And if you call yourself a follower of Christ, you are. I think this is why they were so mad about this, because these people like to use their get all high and mighty about their Christianity and their piety and all of this crap, and this is flipping that nonsense on its head. This idea that, oh, they're politicizing the pulpit, as if that's not what Falwell and all these clowns do every single Sunday since the 1960s. Okay, like this idea that, oh, the church can't be political. Like, what the hell is the evangelical right? If that's the case, like, miss me with all of that. But if we're talking about, like, people talking about, oh, the Bible is inconsistent. No, it's not. Not the Jesus Christ portions. You can go verse, chapter for verse by verse, guys. You know, this idea that the money changers are going to have the hardest time getting into heaven. You know, this idea that, like, Jesus, like, yo, I'm hanging out with the poor people. I'm washing their feet. I'm the Son of Man, the Lamb of God. I'm washing their feet. You know, I'm hanging out with the downtrodden. You know, turn the other cheek, like, love your neighbor. Like, you freaking name it. You go down the goddamn Jesus Christ doctrine. Like, there's no question where this guy stood on this question of people who are, you know, hungry and sick and need help. Like, this is nuts. That message is wholly consistent with the message of Jesus. It's not even close. And any of these God botherers who want to come at me on that, like, I swear to God, dude. I like this question. Wos, you stated that Trump winning wasn't the sky falling previously, and I agreed. Has your thoughts changed at all? No, it's 3 days of stuff that I don't like. Sky falling, no, although I don't like the signs. All of these freaking oligarchs at the damn inauguration, like this, like this is the thing about Trump, man. Like, a lot of the shit that the Democrats do that can feel like it's behind the shadows, and it's like innuendo referring to it. And, you know, like Lena Khan's justice FTC is suing the shit out of Google, and Kamala Harris is fundraising with them on the same motherfucking day. You know, a lot of shit that the Democrats already do that's just not on the fucking level. Like, Trump is just doing it blatantly. And I would encourage people to go pick up some books about the Gilded Age, man. I'm going to have some book recs when I come back for you next week. But, like, all of these freaking tech oligarchs, dude, on that stage with him at the inauguration, just, like, making it plain and clear. These are the people with the seat at the table. Not you, everyday citizen. You don't have a fucking say in anything that happens. Just, man, that image was so stark. And just like, man, I don't like this direction. The whole, you know, the 500 billion to AI, as if AI, by the way, AI in the way these people conceive of it, which is what? Replace human labor every single place that we can. That's their dream. That's why they're investing in this shit, because they think eventually we'll never have to pay a person for work again. These robots will run on these freaking off of these power grids that we've made for ourselves, this infrastructure, and we're never going to have to pay a single worker again. That's the ultimate goal. Make no mistake about it. This shit is not a secret to anybody. So AI, as these dudes conceive of it, as super man, Larry Ellison was giving a speech about how, yeah, citizens are going to have no choice but to comport with the rules. We're going to have cameras and facial recognition everywhere. Anybody does anything wrong, well, the AI will get them, snap them up quickly. Like, bro, the way these people conceive of what AI is going to be in the future, where every single worker becomes obsolete, we don't need an American labor force ever again. We want to create an even more insane than we have surveillance state. Bro, it's freaking scary. And the idea that these folks, it's just so blatant, bro. Like, this is who I'm taking cues from. And the idea, and again, yo, these tech people, the people that run that entire sector of the fucking country, let's call it 30, 40 people. The biggest of the big dogs and the big cats. Let's call it like 30, 40 people. A country of 350 million. And these guys get to do and dictate our lives to us. because they made a freaking app where you could get a dildo in a day and a half. So they get to, it's now their right, because they got rich off of this freaking app, to tell the American public how they get to live their lives. You know, because on social media, they could sell you jeans with 7 pockets in them more efficiently from advertisers. So they got rich off of creating that efficiency. And now they get to be the ones who dictate our lives to us because they donated to somebody's campaign. I think it's crazy and it's scary. Definitely, I think, the past week is definitely, I'm not going to say I feel like, oh, things are going to hell in a handbasket tomorrow. But no, like definitely, and that was a great question, Mr. Oliwuda. I still don't think the sky is falling necessarily, but man, the tech oligarchy dudes, that for me, them dudes, that just felt ominous at the inauguration. The amount of freaking just tech and money. And at the first press conference, Donald Trump's like, oh, they said I made billions, $4 billion off of my fake ass meme coin and I robbed the public blind. That's a drop in a bucket to these guys, literally at his press conference. That's definitely some scary stuff, man. I just want to talk about one last thing before we get out of here and why I'm so freaking annoyed by Biden and the Dems and their just inability to fight this guy, man. Like, fight him back on behalf of the people. Donald Trump, Jerv, if you could bring this up, please. Donald Trump threatens Russia with tariffs and sanctions if they don't agree to end the war. Why is this important, y'all? Why is this important? He went on Truth Social. He was like, look, I love the Russian people. I love Russia. Like, I think you guys are great. I want to end the war. I just think we need to stop the war. We need to stop this right now. Let's come to the table. Let's get a deal done. That's what he said. Okay. He's like, look, I'll do my tariffs thing if it doesn't work out, blah blah blah. He's just basically like, it's like, we need to stop this ridiculous. This is my quote right here. This is the money quote. Settle now and stop this ridiculous war. It's only going to get worse, and we can bring that off, Jerv. And I think that's important for one reason only. On the other side, again, you could say whatever you want about this fucking guy. He has an instinct for the shit that people don't like. This idea that we are sending endless amounts, gobs of money to Israel and to the Ukrainians to fund a war that has no end in sight. And for what? Our money to them for these wars. No American likes this. And this idea of like, oh, but the economy is fine. No, people connected to the economy. It's an economic argument that normal people are making. If we're constantly telling citizens we don't have the resources to make their lives better, to fix, homelessness, to fix the housing crisis, to fix, you name it, healthcare, to fix education. We're constantly telling people don't have the resources, can't pay for it. Yet with the wave of a pen, Congress, the one time these motherfuckers showed up at 1 a.m. about they seek to vote for more money for Ukraine and Israel. Just an instinct that like we need to stop this shit. And the fact that, when is the last time Joe Biden said this? When is the last time? What did Kamala say when she was running it? Let's bring this war to an end. Let's bring Putin and them to the table. We're the world's leader. We're the world's policeman. We have all kinds of influence on Ukraine. Clearly, we're giving them all the damn money and weapons. Let's bring these guys to the table. Let's bring an end to the war. Like, but they can't. They literally, they are so hamstrung by their sugar daddies. They literally cannot craft a winning message. Their owners in the donor class will not allow them to craft an obvious winning message. It's all of the nasty ass oligarchy that Trump is for, and let's sprinkle some wokeness on it. Like the most losingest message that could have possibly been invented, dude. Where's Schumer? Where's Hawk Jeffries? Where's Pelosi? Where are the leaders in the party leading the charge? Like, yo, we need to bring a peace over there. The freaking Ukrainians are conscripting 50-year-olds to their army, y'all. They're finding 50 and 40-year-olds off the street to conscript them to their army. It's over. They can't keep this fight up. It's done. It's over. Hundreds of thousands of people have died behind this shit. And the estimates have been low coming out of both countries. You know, the people think that like 1 million casualties of this war. Okay. Where is the messaging anywhere on the left? Like, we need to bring this war to it. Instead, because there's sugar daddies in the military industrial complex, because the freaking blob and the deep state own these dudes, wholly own these dudes, not a peep. And this fucking dude is the one stumping for it. That's embarrassing, y'all. I'm sorry. That's embarrassing. I see this shit and I'm just like, bro, it's nowhere. Like, you haven't heard anybody. If anything, it's like, yes, we know. Yes, we know. The messaging is this. What's the messaging if it's not peace? I'm going to tell you what it is. Yo, Putin's war was unjust. He invaded. He's occupying, blah, 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 which, whatever. It's hypocritical when you think about the stance we're taking it with Israel, but that's neither here nor there. Whatever. Whatever. But their whole thing is like, oh, Putin, we need to stop the aggression and blah, blah, blah. When it's just like, bro, the war's at a stalemate. The Ukrainians cannot win a war of attrition against these guys. We need to come to a deal so that we can stop the bloodshed, stop the suffering, stop the ridiculous globs of money, American taxpayer money going out there. No Democrat articulates the vision, except for Bernie, of course. But I'm tired of saying that. Like, yeah, of course, Bernie's on the right side of this. Okay, so what? Nobody else. Not one person advocating for the idea that these countries should come to the table and come to an end. It's disheartening, y'all. I'm sorry. Seeing that shit fucked up my fucking mood yesterday when I'm like, Jesus Christ, this dude is just the first person saying this. By the way, going against a lot of the neocons. A lot of the people in his own cabinet. So you can't even hit me with the, oh, well, you know, he's just going with what his party wants. There is the anti-Ukraine war wing on the right wing. There is this sort of America first, vaguely, whatever, anti-war. Like, it does exist. They're not powerful. They're ascendant. JD Vance is the freaking vice president. You know, some other homies that the sort of Israel lobby are already smearing with slurs are, you know, ascending and getting some nice little cabinet positions. But like, let's be real, the neocons are still the ones that rule the day in the party, and Trump just went directly against them publicly. Let's bring this war to an end. Let's get a deal, make a peace. It's embarrassing, man. Anyway, that'll be the show, man. Look out for the new format. Really looking forward to it. Shouts to my man John Gervais on the 1s and 3s, man. Always keeping the trains running on time. Shouts to everybody in the chat, to YouTube. Appreciate you guys. We'll see you guys next week. Peace out.